sex. So we often can go a lot slower in connection sex. We spend more time looking at our partner, like being in that space. It's more like, I would say, the making love, aspect of a relationship, which isn't doesn't happen all the time, even in what you're in a connected sex space.
Right, gotcha.
Sometimes it's very erotic, but there's this very deep connection where you feel totally authentic and can be completely vulnerable and express your desires and your needs and not be afraid that you're going to be shamed for it or judged for it, right?
Yes. That's good. That's really good.
Yeah.
I didn't know those levels. That's really good, but keep going.
Yeah. And then the erotic connection space in a really healthy relationship, that's incorporated in your sex life, where you're not just doing the same thing over and over again. You're actually exploring your erotic edges. You're beginning to notice, like, what is my turn on? What is your turn on? How do we get out of sex, not just the physical experience that we want, but the emotional experiences that we want as well.
Right. That's good. That's good. So a lot of people are struggling to connect with their sensual outside of the bedroom. How can someone reconnect with their sensual energy throughout their daily life, even in the most mundane activities?
I mean, the first thing is to be present, which, everybody, including, me, struggles at times to actually be present, right? To not be like having our head in our phone all the time, to actually notice, be aware of what's happening. And then to identify, we have 5 different senses. All of them we can experience sensuality from. So can you be really conscious and, like, I'm looking outside, I'm in Asheville, North Carolina, everything is green because it's been so rainy, but it's lush and it's beautiful. And the sensuality of the different colors, of the different shades of the leaves, right? What's it like when, we pick up a strawberry or a piece of food and we consciously eat and we really connect with the lusciousness of the feel of that strawberry on your tongue and the taste of the sweetness, right? So really, like, taking your time to spend a little time every day connecting with 1 or 2 or 3 of your senses in a very conscious way is the way I always recommend for people to start to reconnect with their sensuality, and then move to touch. I have, it's not the free gift I'm giving, but I do have a free program. It's actually a really good program. It's called Awaken. Yeah, it's called Awaken Your Body. It's just a free program. And it really, My Awake Body is what it's called. And it just is like 10 different meditations that you get over a 2-week period of time, of exercises, of starting to awaken your body through breath, through smell, through visuals, through touch, through visualizations, right? So that we start to slowly come back into contact with ourselves and our sensuality. And we can all do it, Nobody's blocked from that.
Yeah, absolutely. You're really deeply rooted in trauma-informed practices. How does understanding our past traumas impact our capacity for pleasure and intimacy? And what can people do to heal these wounds?
Yeah. So as you well know, women and men who have experienced sexual abuse, childhood sexual abuse, emotional abuse, physical abuse, they bring a lot of trauma and stuck patterns into their life going forward. And with respect to sexuality, there are so many ways in which our past trauma interferes with our sexuality. So, for example, for many clients I've worked with, they dissociate from their body during sex, which, basically means they're not present in their body. They're kind of having an out-of-body experience, and they freeze. So they kind of lie there like kind of a dead fish is how their partner would explain that, right? Not having any experience, or they dissociate from a part of their body, usually the part of their body that was violated or touched, right? And they don't have any sensation as well, right? They may be very touch averse. Like any type of touch might be very, very challenging for them. Some of my clients will be totally fine. And this is an interesting thing for especially for people who've had trauma, to understand that in those first 6 to 18 months of new relationship energy, the dopamine in the system overrides the amygdala, the fear center in our brain. And that's why a lot of people in the very first part of their relationship, they are not having PTSD. They're not having traumatic experiences. They're actually able to have sex. And then 2 years later, all of a sudden it hits them because the dopamine is no longer there and the trauma rises back, right? And it's no longer overriding. So also, being aware of that. Obviously, there's a lot of trauma around our relationships as well. It's what holds us back from feeling emotionally safe with a partner, being able to open up to somebody. A lot of women are afraid of men, right? There's a trust issue. Can I really trust a man? Even though this is the most loving person in the world who's sitting here and he'll do everything for me, but my father abused me and my body has this, this experience around men and trust, and I just contract up.
Yeah, I can relate to that. All of that. And I think some of my audience can relate as well. That's good stuff.
Yeah.
So this is the part of the show that I read, my favorite part that I related with.
Okay.
And I want you to expound on it.
Oh,
so
boy.
This is Go into the book. Okay. So my part is that I really started screaming that I was so on it, and I realized that I was there for almost 30 years. And here it goes. So it says, the power dynamics between men and women in our society are evolving. Successful, powerful women hold so much masculine energy that they find it difficult to cultivate their feminine sexual energy. Men are feeling disempowered and confused about how to exert their masculinity. Women want men to be both emotional and vulnerable and sexually dominant. It's a tall order that can leave a man scratching his head and wondering, how do I need to show up for her to desire me sexually? I'm going to tell you, I realized I had been living in my masculinity for so many years when I read this book. When I read this piece, and I'm in my dating stage. So from 40 to now, I'm still dating. Okay, still dating. I had a couple. Okay, but I didn't realize I was living in my masculine self, and they were feeling that energy, and they were fleeing because of that energy.
Yeah.
So I realized it after reading this book. So thank you, first of all, for writing this book. It's awesome. It made me aware of this is what I lived there because, of course, I had to take care of my children on my own.
Right.
To work and be the breadwinner, all positions that I had to play. I was in young at a young age, about 9, maybe a 9 to about 12. I was parentified by my mother. So I was taking care of my siblings. And I had lived there for a long time in masculinity.
Yeah.
Never embracing my feminine self.
Yeah.
So talk about that, please.
What a great question. A favorite part of my book, a very big part of my own journey and my own story, right? Because that was my realization too, is that I was holding all of the masculine energy, keeping the family together, being the emotional support for my children and my spouse, right? And, you know, running a couple of businesses, right? And it was really hard for me when I started dating because I had the same thing. Like I was attracted to really strong men, but then the power dynamic never worked. Like we got into like conflict all the time. So
yes,
and it's all true, right? And you know, the biggest issue I see with couples who come here is that the men are very powerful, successful CEO kind of men, right, in leadership positions. They are afraid to be in leadership in the bedroom. They are